I believe it will have been yesterday when this goes up, unless you totally dropped the ball. I'm here with T, and yesterday with Nate, I did a video which was the top 5 things that Batman Arkham Origins did right. Today we wanted to go the glass half empty route and look at 5 things it really didn't do well. So hey, I'm glad to have you back. We've literally recorded 4 videos together that all failed because of audio issues, so...
Yeah, it's great to be back. I'm in a negative mood anyways, so
Yeah.
let's bring some negativity to the, well, I guess 3rd installment of the Arkham franchise.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, if it doesn't work out, we can just censor you out of the channel like audio has done before.
If you wouldn't mind, that's what I want, so...
So, the first thing that we wanted to look at was something you pointed out to me. I think it's really true.
Yeah, so when I want to preface too, I really liked Origins. I think we should preface that, and that's obviously from the last video too. I love Origins. I had a really good time with it.
It's also an unpopular opinion now. I think Origins and Knight have both become a lot more popular to dislike over time.
Yes,
I've noticed
for sure,
which is fine. If you don't like Origins, you don't like Origins. But either way, this is something it could have done better.
Definitely, and I would say the first thing for me that I noticed was just. There needs to be more life in the world. It's kind of a dead world, especially after you beat the story. When you're gliding around, there's not a whole lot of going on. There's not a lot of thugs. It's a huge world, and there's a lot to explore. But like when you go play games like City or Night, and I guess to a lesser extent Asylum, there's still things going on, mostly in City and Night, that you can go around and see, and there's thugs and there's interactions. And in Origins, when you're flying around, it's kind of just an empty, vacant city. So that was one thing that I would have liked to see an improvement in.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's a two-headed beast because it also did add in the random crimes. So that was nice. But somehow, even with random crimes, it still felt less populated than City did. Part of that is it's a little bit bigger of a map. But part of it also is that they conveniently wrote it so that everyone would be gone. And they keep doing this, but this is probably the least creative one in terms of making sense why no one's in Gotham.
It really was, yeah, and that was a big problem too, is that it just didn't feel like anyone was in Gotham. So then as you're flying around and as you're trying to find things to do, or even if you're finding Riddler trophies, it just makes the fly over to grab another Riddler trophy feel that much longer, because there's just nothing to distract you. It's just, I'm still just gliding.
It's just me and 10 thugs on the map.
Yeah, and that's it. So that would be my number 1 thing for Origins.
Yeah, and the number 2 thing for what it could have done better actually is, I would classify it as villains, sort of, because we also talked about how villains are great in this game, some of them in the last video, but Black Mask and Riddler are not that great.
No.
And it's sad because when Black Mask is in the game, he is very cool. He's an intimidating villain. You get the idea that he is sort of the kingpin of the Gotham underworld. There's a lot to him. But then, as you know if you've played this game, at about the halfway point, he's pretty much just written out of the story. So...
Which was a bummer, because, I mean, that's what we talked about, too, and it's going to be, I guess, another point, but we weren't expecting that going into the game. It wasn't something that was really... That one thing that we were looking forward to was seeing Black Mask kind of fleshed out, and that didn't really happen. And same thing with Riddler, honestly. I didn't really like the Riddler trophy layout either. I didn't like
Enigma puzzles.
Yeah, I didn't
Enigma
like
challenges.
Yeah.
And the Enigma extortion boxes.
They're what
sort
it was.
of stupid. It's an interesting idea for how... Edward would be starting out and becoming the Riddler. That's cool. I think they got a little too lost in the origins aspect of it, of like, we have to tell everyone's origin.
Right,
it's like, no,
right.
Pretty much people are just here for Batman's origin. You can argue they care about the Joker's, even if they weren't happy with it showing up.
I guess with Bane's to a lesser extent,
yeah.
So you see that a little bit.
Yeah, but with Riddler / Enigma in this one,
right.
It feels like he was tacked on. And they, like some WB executive said, hey, by the way, you did Riddler in 3 other games, or Rocksteady did that in 3 other games we published. WB Games Montreal, we need Riddler in there. It's like, well, timeline-wise, we don't want Riddler in here. It doesn't. Nope, we need Riddler. Okay, fine.
He's got to be in there.
All right, fine. And they just kind of chucked it there. And I was playing it today. Some of those decryption boxes are just tossed around on the map, by the way. Some of them, they're just sitting around. And like you can say the same of Riddler trophies, but it's really obvious. Someone was like, just put it on that roof. With some
Seriously?
Of these. Yes. Other ones are better thought out, but a lot of them are like, whatever, just toss it there. And that was lazy.
That's really lazy.
It's a big part of why Riddler was bad.
And you can kind of tell that they don't care at that point.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know. After 200 Riddler trophies, or however many's in that game, I kind of get it, but
then
also,
he shouldn't be there.
But then he shouldn't be there. You're forcing it, and it's just unnecessary. And I guess that kind of moves into a little bit when we were talking about Black Mask, our number 3 point, which was dishonest marketing.
Yeah,
so,
that was bad.
There were some amazing trailers for this game, if you remember. There was that Deathstroke fight that you saw the insane combat going on that obviously was not in the game. It was just a manufactured trailer that was...
It was a cinematic trailer, yeah.
Yes, it was great. And I people love that trailer.
Well, but one thing, too, with that trailer is, do you remember that City had some of those, but they were all in the spirit of the game?
Yes.
So, like, it never felt dishonest. Like, when they have Hugo Strange sending Tiger Guards to take down Batman, and
Incredible trailer.
And you see a cinematic trailer of it, it stays within the spirit of the game, even if you don't see that specific thing happen. These trailers did not. They portray the game almost as something that it isn't, which is a game entirely about the assassins and Black Mask trying to take Batman down in one night. The game is not really about that. That is a kind of, sort of what the game's about.
Yeah, and I get what they were... I maybe understand that they were trying to go for that twist, in that it was like marketed this way so that when you got into the game, it was like kind of a shock in a good way, I think was the point. Like, oh, Joker's in this, crazy. But for me, and for most people, it was frustrating because we bought the game being excited for the idea of tracking down Black Mask eventually and having to work our way through all of these assassins that are trying to hunt us down. I think that's a really good premise, and I think it's a really good storyline. That was marketed, honestly, really well in that light.
Yeah.
But then it didn't go that direction at all, and I can see why people are still, to this day, pretty frustrated with it.
It's hard for me, too, because as someone who made the no more Joker in the next Batman game, I feel a little bit like a hypocrite for saying it, but I actually love how Joker was done in this game, and I think you do, too.
Yeah, he was great.
It's more just that he was done well, but still should not have been here taking center stage. That's the problem, even if it was done well. The dishonest marketing was still a big problem that really hurt this game, I think, for people forever.
Because that's the thing, if you marketed it as Joker was there, or Joker was going... And I get it, it's part of the twist, but if you even marketed that Joker was going to make an appearance, I think it maybe changes perceptions a little bit.
Yeah, people wouldn't have gone in with that, like that idea that he was like not here or barely going to be here if he showed up.
Right, because it got to a point of saturation from the other games where, like, Joker was obviously incredible in City and Asylum, but people, I think, were also looking forward to other rogues getting fleshed out a bit, and we didn't get that, and it was a shock that, I guess, wasn't a very wanted surprise.
It's also a surprise that, as I'm sure we'll mention in a future video, shows up again and again.
Yes.
Even in Night. You can't get rid of the Joker character, for better or worse. We love him, but sometimes you need a break.
Yes, you do. Moving into number 4, we wanted to talk about the online, which we loved, by the way. There was some... When you were... That's the thing. When you were in a game, there were some really cool, fun moments that you could have.
And it was janky. It was incredibly janky.
Very much so,
and weird, but very fun. And it made it onto the list of things that Arkham Origins did right. So I don't want to, pinwheel on that. Like, I still think it did. But it's more like the idea or the spirit of the multiplayer is done right. The execution is not done completely right.
Correct. Yeah, there was between the loading times, which for me was the biggest thing.
Yeah, you would sit in a lobby for 15 or 20 minutes.
Sometimes more. Sometimes you just wouldn't even get into a game, which was really frustrating because you just want to get in and play. And that's when you finally got into the combat and stuff. It definitely did the same thing over and over again. There wasn't a lot of variety to it, but I still love it because you got to play as Batman and Robin with a buddy and go in and beat up thugs. Or you got to feel as though Batman and Robin were tracking you down. So I did like that part, but it was mostly just the execution of there just wasn't a lot of variety and there was too long of wait times.
Well, and something people forget too is that you were also able to play as a supervillain. It was kind of like a kill streak type thing where you could play as Joker or Bane if you meet certain conditions.
Right.
And that was very cool too. They did really good ways of rewarding the player, especially with cosmetics and everything, but again, this all could have been done better if you could just get into matches faster, and they tried to refine it a little bit and not make it such a janky experience.
For sure. So
our final thing is a mixed bag again. It's something we like, but they really didn't do it that well. The storyline was way too short.
Way too short. Yeah, I remember on the first day when I got it on launch day, I beat it in a day, which you could do, I guess, with Asylum, and
You could.
it's a shorter campaign, but Asylum is still longer than this one, I think, and so this story, you kind of cruise through it very quickly, and it was really fun, and I enjoyed the story, and there were some really good moments in it, but I just remember feeling that it was too short, and that I wish there was more, I guess, with it. You know what I mean? Because at the end of Asylum, City, and Night, I remember feeling a satisfaction that I had completely fleshed out the story. It felt good, but there was maybe more on the horizon. With this, it was just like, they could have done more. There was still more to do, it felt like. So it felt quick for me.
There was more to do, and it almost felt like an extremely long DLC for Arkham City in some ways. Like, it could have been a standalone DLC for $30 or $40 that you would add on to that game instead of its own thing because of that. And I wonder a little bit if maybe it could have been longer if they hadn't worked on the multiplayer. I don't know. I don't know how the team was split up for that, but yeah, it was disappointing that you end it so fast and you're like, but I want more.
Well, that's the thing, is with waiting for these games, you're waiting for the story. You're waiting for what's going to happen in that environment. So when it ended so quickly, it was just kind of a bummer to be done with it in one day. And that's partially my own fault, because I just like to barrel through and find out what happens and then go back and do side missions. But at the same time, it would have been nicer to have more, I guess, substance to it.
Absolutely. And with Cold Cold Heart, it's expanded a little bit, but still not quite enough, I don't think, to get rid of this as a con to the game.
For sure.
So, hey, we want to know what you think. What's your general opinion on Arkham Origins? I'm sure you will have left it on the last video too, but so let us know, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Have a fantastic and awesome day.